S7E10 Stolen. The episode is rated TV 14, so this video be. As usual, spoilers for everything MCU and adjacent leading up to and including this episode, not for anything that came out after this episode first premiered. Absolutely love this episode. Holy crap, let's dive in. Several things really surprised me in this episode, so very, very nicely done on that. Let's see, I think they did a really great job on the thing with, you know, the reveal, the various family reveals. You know, they get the coordinates to Jiaying, excuse me, just before May tells Daisy, you know, you have a sister. And yeah, let's see. Yeah, because, you know, they weren't expecting Gordon to bring in Jiaying immediately. They thought there would be more time to explain. And yeah, it is just so, like, seeing Jiaying like this, just genuinely wanting what's best for her daughters, and being like, I hurt you. I'm so sorry. You know this. Yeah. Um. And yeah, trying to do what's best. Well, she was always trying to do what she felt was best for her. For the Inhumans of Afterlife. Yeah. The Afterlifeians. Uh, yeah, I think, yeah, I like the thing about, you know, no, forget rank. I need you to be you. I'm being me. And let's see. Yeah, you know, I appreciate the discussion doesn't get, like, derailed by, like, personal insults or something. Like, they're making sense. Everyone, it makes sense for what their characters say, you know, and like Jiaying wanting to risk herself, and you know, the others realizing how important she is and trying to talk her out of it, and she eventually agrees, you know. Really, really good stuff. It could so easily have, you know, yeah, gotten really frustrating with, you know, insults. I think that does bring us to, yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just briefly, well, I don't know how brief it's going to be. I'll talk about, yeah, I guess the whole time it genuinely was, you know, Nathaniel wanted Gordon, you know, he wanted to Gordon up John Garrett. And it is definitely true. There's no way without that for them to get Simmons. And yeah, he wants to stop Fitz, because that's the only, what was it, the every single time they failed, according to the time stream, it was because of Fitz. And yeah, let's see. I really miss Bill Paxton, but I will say his son did fantastic, and that was a great reveal. You know, 2 more beers under the name of John Garrett. You know, because yeah, like, this is before he was, you know, before he strayed from Shield for Hydra, and yeah, very, very clever. I love the line of, "You haven't changed a bit. I know that doesn't make any sense." Because this is a younger version, so of course he hasn't. How would he change? How he's changing backwards? You know, that's yeah. I think that does. Yeah, I will say it was a little. It's a bit like the first time I, you know, seeing Bill Paxton's son. I just looked it up. I think it was John Paxton. You know, it was a bit like the first time I realized, you know, oh, Jake Busey is Gary Busey's son, and you know, just the resemblance. Yeah, it takes a little getting used to. But his, yeah, fantastic performance, a lot of fun. I think that might bring us to the let's see. Yeah, I the various joining on the mission. I was a little surprised at first when, you know, Phil MD. Well, Phil MD was captured at first. It's more, you know, the fact that Elena. You know, I love the upgrades. By the way, I'm still not used to that. And Mac. You know, the fact that they were able to free the prisoners, but yeah, because the, you know, the hostages. Not trying to pull a. I'm partway through watching this really excellent video by L Literacy where she talks about crap. What was his name again? Louis Theroux. Hold on, I can actually get the title for once. Louis Theroux exposed Israeli bias in media or something like that. Yeah. Really excellent video where we're you know, talking about how the coverage and yeah. Anyway, video recommended. Anyway, freeing the hostages, but that's because, you know, that was the plan. You know, he just needed to split up the team. And they, of course, didn't realize that, you know. It's this combination of, you know, for one thing, they don't know about the time stream. You know, we, the viewer, knew already, but it's only in this episode that Phil MD realizes time stream is still, you know, they thought it was destroyed. Yeah. And, let's see, I think well, actually, I guess that was the big thing that, yeah, you know, hard to defeat a guy who watched a video walkthrough before starting to play the game. Yeah, I guess that didn't really make sense because that doesn't work for multiplayer. Anyway, yes. Anyway, the yeah, just, you know, the thing about, you know, well, there was a 94% probability, and yeah, taking the power and Garrett being like, can we stop briefly because I am not crazy about the eye thing, and, you know, ultimately doesn't affect his eyes, and yeah, he is immediately loving the teleportation and really happy that Phil gave him a word for it. Did they not have the word teleport in 1983? Wow, come to think, maybe they, I don't know. I'm not going to make a declarative statement either way, just in case. Just feel like, wouldn't there have been some sort of, yeah, wasn't there a line about teleportation in one of the Star Wars, one of the original trilogy Star Wars movies? Anyway, moving on. Maybe Garrett doesn't watch a lot of sci-fi. That works. Yeah, the thing about, you know, I watched you, you know, blow me up with a rocket, but it's okay because I watched you die a bunch of times and it cheered me right up. Which was your favorite Loki? I mean, are we allowed to say the names of the? You know, you were stabbed with a space spear, and yeah, I mean that was one of the more effective of the deaths. Yeah, really great plan by Nathan. I feel like they managed to save one of the best villains of the show for last. Yeah, I don't know that it's the very best, but it's up there. And yeah, I mean, first time we met Nate, it was like, what, season 2 or 3 or something, you know, but I never thought that he would, you know, because I didn't expect there would be like time travel shenanigans and saving people who died in the main continuity kind of thing. But yeah, really nicely done. And yeah, this thing of like, yeah, he's going against, you know, Hydra, but also S.H.I.E.L.D. and these other, you know, Afterlife, everyone that has rules he's going against, you know, because he felt constrained. You know, Hydra had rules and the fanatics went along with it, you know, or you know, went along with it. They believed them, you know, they thought this is the way it's supposed to be. And what happens if you're raised in that and you know there's not really a traditional way out of it, and you hate it, you know. So yeah, that's what we're seeing. Yeah. Let's see. I guess that does pretty well bring us to. I thought they did a good job with the setup of and payoff. You know, Deke can't hear anyone because he's listening to he's the IMDb trivia notes. It's the same type as Star-Lord. He's listening to music. You know, he does when Simmons shows up, and then he does later, and does ends up on the Zephyr as it's taken. So I don't know if they're gonna do like Die Hard on a plane with they don't. This was before Harrison Ford joined the MCU, but nevertheless, I could see that being, yeah. Let's see Daisy talking to Simmons, but you were devastated, you were inconsolable. I've never seen you like that. and she talks to Deke. Maybe Fitz is dead, and it's like, oh. Sometimes the show really does mess with our emotions, so I guess I can't rule it out. I mean, Enoch is not there to stop them, and Nate does not have any compunctions, which comes in handy, about removing the implant and finding out. So yeah, I'm thinking we're gonna get clear answers in, there's only 3 episodes left, so soon would have to be, but yeah. Let's see. What's the other thing about? Yeah, by the end, I love that, like, his dying words, after his powers have been taken away, he's like, I should have killed you when I had the chance. I forgive you for thinking that. And she burns him right up. And yeah, Phil MD is able to take her out. Turn around, fire hands. And we're gonna have to figure out if because like originally she was supposed to die, but originally Jia-Ying was supposed to live. So what is? I really, like, for several seconds there, I'm pretty sure I was supposed to as well. But yeah, I was thinking, is Daisy gonna like blink out of existence, or what exactly is going to happen here? Because yeah. Let's see. This would have to be before Daisy had been born. Like, it's not just, maybe Jia-Ying was just pretending she didn't, but baby Daisy's out there somewhere. No, in 1983, there's no, like, that would have meant that at the start of this show, Daisy would have been, like, 30 or older, and that's just not, there's no way. I forget if they've stated her actual age, but no way she's like 30 or it was at the start of the show. I think the actress might be by this point in the show's run, but she was definitely in her 20s, same as the actress was at the time. So yeah, I do not know. And I'm also like trying to figure out, so like, does that mean that is there a new timeline, or are they gonna have to travel back in time and do like a Back to the Future thing of like stopping, making sure that I can wait. Making sure that the Freddy dies when he's supposed to, and like some kind of in order to fix the timeline. I've gone cross-eyed. Yeah, then we have the thing about, oh, you're such a square. Harsh, but sure. And then he does the not square thing, I guess. I don't know, maybe he's round triangle? I don't know what the alternative is, but yeah, like he's like, oh yeah, she's not an outsider. You know, she was, yeah. But yeah, it's like, he gets it. He has perspective that Daisy at this point expects to return to her own timeline at some point. They're gonna fix the time machine and return to. He is not expecting that, and he's had enough time to think. Yeah, if, there is a very, yeah, like you gotta say the things that you need to say to the people you care about before it's too late. And yeah, it's a strong scene. And also, the bit when she realizes sister, and confronts May, understandably. By the way, great fight between May and Garrett, who for several seconds there completely forgot that he. Well, fight. I guess it's kind of just her kicking his ass. Just yeah. But yeah, that was a really great. Let's see. Until he remembers he can teleport. And yeah, well, if Nate's not here for Jiaying, then what is he? Very nicely. And the conversation between Nate and Daisy was also really great. You know, when you didn't tell her. This is like a Dallas season finale. I appreciate that bit of self-awareness. And yeah, Jiaying, like there's some like you can see that she feels betrayed, but it's also in part like, I hurt you. How did I don't want to hurt you, and yeah, the Quake on Quake action was quite good. Um, Trying to find out, best Quake ever. I haven't played all of them, but of the first three, I remember preferring the third one. But yeah, it was a good point about, we're gonna like flood this place if we use our powers too much, and he points out, technically I've had my powers for longer than you. Yeah. What was the other thing I wanted to? But yeah, the thing about, I grew up without my mom, and then I met her, and she hurt me, and and she's like, I tried to make things right, but it ended up all wrong. That's such a great way for her to convey that to the woman who is technically the one who did it all wrong. And it is very clear from every single, yeah, she was always trying to do the right thing. It just happened to go wrong. Let's see. Were there... I think that might just about cover... let's see. Yeah, I think that might... Yeah, really looking forward to seeing what happens next. Currently, the plan is Tuesday. Will be the very next episode. Yeah, let's see. I think that might cover everything. Yeah, I am genuinely so like pumped about the fact that I am honestly not sure. Like I feel like, okay, at the end of the day, good guys are probably going to win. I don't think this show is going to end with the bad guys winning. That would be very surprising to me. But I'm not sure exactly how they're going to win. Like I feel like there's probably going to be at least a little bit more time travel. I'm not going to be like super devastated emotionally if there isn't. But yeah, let's see. I think the yeah, there's a pretty good chance that there's going to be at least some more time travel to fix the timeline, or I guess maybe they're going to have to make work the new timeline. Are they at least going to get to go back to their own time, or are they going to have to start over in 1983? That was genuinely very fun when, they're in the lighthouse and, D'Souza's like, wow, cement pot and everything. And like, there's a right under a lighthouse and under the water. There's you know, they got to put more security on the Zephyr. This is not the first time that thing has been hijacked. Anyway, yeah, he's like, wow, this is so cool, and meanwhile you've got Simmons and Daisy there, and they're like, yeah, wow, we're gonna have to deal with 1980s tech. You're not a TV anymore.